2 live.
You're now watching two old farts making noises.
That is some really trendy, funky techno music you got going there, Dave.
Yeah, not only the
Yeah.
messages also.
Yeah, well, they're your messages, Adam. You know me. I'll steal anything if I can. So, allegedly.
Allegedly. Yes. Wait, just so you know, Mickey Mouse next year, the old one from 1929,
Oh,
it becomes
the
public
original.
domain. Yeah, the original Mickey, the Steamboat Willie, comes public domain, David. So as of January 1st, steal away. So just to
Okay,
let you know.
I love all those little black and white movies, and
Yeah.
they're just great. They're just
That'd
great.
be awesome.
But
Adam, it's good to see you again, my friend.
So we're talking about black and white. We have a man of color with us today.
I know, it's very
He's
exciting.
been sending us.
Sometimes there is black and white also. It depends.
Yeah.
He's got a whole bunch of new stuff.
It depends on the mood. It depends on what you want to transmit and what you want to express.
Yeah. Okay.
For example, when there's beauty in black and white photography, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have some works there, black and white. You can see them now.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to show them now.
I'm
I'm going to show you other things.
That's right.
He's gonna keep it
more new things.
Hold it back. I mean, I love black and white photography. I'm a real fan.
Yeah, me too.
So,
me too.
David, apparently your whole world behind you is black and white. I'm surprised.
Yeah, you have a great background today.
Yeah, I just thought, something different. I'm getting older.
Music,
so.
I think. Oh, come on, everybody.
Yeah, well, like I said, if I move, you actually see. Are we going the wrong way? You actually see
Elvis.
It's actually an Elvis Presley wallpaper.
Your alter ego.
No, not really. I'm sitting in front of him, so he's behind me. It's all gone.
That's cute. I like it. So
yeah, just found it, and I thought that's just something different.
It's very nice.
So,
well, today we have tons of stuff. We've got apparently a drop we're going to talk about. We've got new artwork we're going to talk about. We're going to show some new videos, which we've not done, which will be fun. And we've got new artwork to show. So this is going to be a full pack show. So I'm very excited about this. So, and then we're going to talk about life, if you will, or I should say the quantum X theory.
Yeah, we have a topic today that is the meaning, which of course the topic, it's a topic that is used in every episode, in everything that we do, actually. The meaning, it's what we're looking for all the time, isn't it?
Yes.
And what really happens. It's hard to say what is the meaning in general, but we can start talking what happens when there is no meaning. What do you think, guys?
That's what happens now. We have what we have today.
Have meaning in your life. Have you ever been to this situation, Stephen? Let's start with you, for example.
Me, no. I've always had a purpose, and I've always had meaning in that. Since I came out of the womb with a purpose.
Really?
So it was, I came out and I was going to take over the world in finance, and I did, and that was and I still driven and still have a purpose every day when I get up, because I find if I get up and it's just like I don't know what I want to do today, then that day is shot. So every day has a purpose. There has to be an end, and I like that. I'm very driven on a daily basis, so I always have a purpose. I find people that don't have a purpose or a meaning, it doesn't work well for them.
Yeah, but do you think that the purpose is the meaning?
I think yes. I think they're intertwined, and I also with the Buddhist and the Taoism and ancient mystics, I think there's a general consciousness as well. So I think that what I do now goes forward into more of a consciousness, or the ancients would believe it goes into, like, if you will, the absolute, like it goes into back when you take what you've learned and you go into a big, if you will, matrix of it. And then when you come back again, you have that to instill on the population, so to speak.
Okay, but there was no day in your life that you woke up and say, okay, I got this purpose, but I'm not satisfied with it. I don't know, something like a bad day, like
I have bad days.
yeah.
That's because I just don't think
Question
I'm
your
doing.
purpose or your meaning.
Nah, because then if I have to question, like I know people say, they question their life. It's like Frank Sinatra's song "My Way." I did it my way. I'm good with that. Like
Okay.
I every day I wake up, I'm like, this is what I've got to do. This is what I want to get done. And if I'm done by noon, I'm good. Like I've done what I want. And if I don't get done until 10 o'clock at night, I'm good. I've done what I want. So every day has to have a goal for me,
Yeah.
and that's how I'm driven. So and this is more tongue in cheek. Like if the goal is to smoke 5 cigars, then that's the goal, right? But usually it's work related or the show related or whatever. So there's always a goal or family related. So the goal is always there. And even if you don't attain it, at least if I know I did everything 200% to get there and I might have fallen short, I can make up for it the next day. So, and that's it. So I put pressure on myself constantly. So if I make a mistake, I'm the one that yells at me. Like my wife hates it because I'll yell at myself, so to speak. And I'm like, you stupid, blah, 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 and use every word in the book. And she's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, myself. And she's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, because I'm driven. And I think that's the problem. People aren't driven
Yeah, but
today,
you do
right?
it to become better. Yes, you're
Yes. Oh,
trying
yeah.
to
And I
always,
read.
and
And I
that is
love
also
reading. Yeah.
in your situation. Yes, the purpose is the meaning as well. They
Yes.
are, but it's not always the case. David, what do
No,
you think?
yeah. What about you, David?
Yeah, I've had sort of very dark moments where I've felt sort of rudderless really, and not knowing what I want to do. I think that the bottom line is that I'm a sort of a crusader that's always looking for a cross. I'm always I want to get up and move forward and encourage people to come with me. And yeah, that sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah,
But did you
it's
have a time that you lost the meaning or
oh, definitely,
nothing?
yeah,
Yes.
definitely, yeah. Yeah, very much so. And, these are very dark moments in your life. And somebody once said to me, a really good friend said to me, and I know it sounds really, really stupid, but he said to me, there's only one person that can get you out of bed in the morning, and that's you.
Mhm.
And it was just so obvious. I thought, oh, yeah, that's right. So there's no point in sitting around sort of, just sort of simmering away in the juices of my discontentment. What I got to do is get up and get moving, and then find something. Uh, you know, I, so I get accused of being a dog with a bone. I have to have something that I'm always chewing on and always doing. Yeah, I'm lucky really to have found somebody like Stephen really, who's equally as obsessed about things as I am, and
Of
we kind
course.
of pull each other along, and which is the reason why all this has happened. There's no obvious reason why the 12 parts exists, other than who Stephen is and who I am. I think.
Yeah. But you see,
Yeah,
this project gives you meaning, yeah, guys, doesn't it? So it's one of the things that gives you some kind of meaning in your life because it
yeah,
makes you wake
yeah,
up in the morning, do things, talk with
Right.
people like me, with others, and
yeah.
stuff. And there
It's
is
the
an
And
purpose.
it's challenging. It's nice and challenging as well because we didn't know anything about this technology that we trying to play around with, and we just So that's just something else to do. It's. I try to look at the glass as being half full, and I think, okay, right,
yes,
this is something, and I'm curious, so I think, oh, I don't know about that, so I'm going to learn how to do that, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And like I said, I'm lucky because Stephen also is very, very open-minded and says, "Well, yeah, why not?" He's not. It's never. He's never the. It's not. I've had worked with people before who've always put something in front of me, to make me to trip me up or to hold me back. Well, this won't work and that won't work and whatever. And that's not been my experience on this project with Stephen. It's always, yeah, why not? Why not? Let's do it. See what
yeah.
happens.
But I don't think you have have second thoughts about it, or you like what you do. It gives you the meaning that I'm talking about. It gives you the sense of satisfaction of that it is for something. It gives something to
Yeah,
other people,
yeah,
to you. etc., etc.
Well, it's rather selfish, really, from my point of view, because I just like meeting interesting people, and and
This also
certainly
gives meaning, doesn't it?
when COVID was upon us and I couldn't travel and couldn't go and see people, yeah, I thought, well, how am I going to still meet a lot of people and and satisfy that curiosity? And yeah, this is the result of that, really.
Okay, so we talked a little about the meaning in personal meaning. What about a society? Like, for example, society has got also a meaning or not. For example, now you're more experienced than me, maybe, but if you look back on the past, do you think the society in the past was more meaningful than the society right now, or no, or it's different kind of meaning, or
Yeah,
what's
I
going on?
think the
I don't.
society, we talked about this yesterday on a show,
All right.
society, no, which is good. The
Yeah.
society of yesteryear, the olden days, if you will, I think they were more purpose driven, more connected, even though they weren't connected like we are with the internet and whatnot. And I think it was more, you have to help your neighbor. I think the last 20 years, because with artificial intelligence, iPads, Zoom, different technologies, the society as a whole is getting more disconnected. And I think you see that with the mass shootings. You see that with the countries now. It's kind of like we want no one's like trying to help each other. It's everybody's me, 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 me. And it's always been that way. But back in the day, you couldn't just be me, me, me. You all had to help each other because, if one person had an issue, you probably had it in the community. And
Yeah.
today, everyone's out for themselves. So I think we've lost that uh, spirituality, communality, whatever you want to call it, as a society. I think it's very much them. It's you against everybody, and which isn't good. And even on sports teams, it's sort of like I'm the star, you suck, and you may be good, but you're not as good as me. So it's not even a team anymore. It's like in our football, American football, like there's 11 guys on offense and 11 guys on defense. There's 11 guys there are 22 guys that are playing with a squad of 50. I don't think they look at it. I'm sure some look at it as a team sport. I think others look at it, it's all me. And then I'm sure in European football, soccer for the Americans, the same thing. You have guys that are, this is my team. You have other guys, it's all about me. And I think it's a much different world, and it's getting worse, not better. And I think that's an issue. And I think it's going to become a bigger issue as we go further down the path.
So you're saying that the key element here is the egoism, that
Ego. Yep.
everybody's looking
Yeah.
inside themselves, but not as a introspective. It's like
Correct.
to gain
Yeah.
things for himself only,
Right.
not
Although I don't
looking
hear,
around.
Yeah.
although I don't hear anything strange from what Stephen is saying. I still have this pebble in my shoe that says my parents were probably saying exactly the same thing. It's like it's
Yeah.
and
That's
I
true.
try not to look back, because what value does that bring us?
Let me give you this example. If World War II happened today, we're screwed. You know why? Because nobody wants to do it. There's no camaraderie. There's no this. When World War II broke out, literally everybody except the U.S. in the beginning, right? Because we're individuals. We couldn't. But when we got involved, everybody got involved. So like in the
Well,
beginning
there
when
was no
London
other
was
choice. Germans
right.
are
Well,
attacking
not really.
everybody, and
The
Italians.
only reason we got, because the UK came to us many times and said we need your help, and we were like, no, it doesn't. No, 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 no. We said
Well,
no like more than we said yeah. And then when on the other side of the planet, when Japan was gearing up, we kept saying no, 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 no. The only reason we got pissed off is when they bombed Pearl Harbor, when everyone was worried. Then the Russians or the Russians and Germany got together. Then America was like, oh, maybe we should do something. But then when we did it, the U.S. population banded together. It was like we have to do something to do this. And I think we've lost that here in America, because look at like in the Ukraine and all these other places. It's like we kind of go. It's like Americans don't care. Like you can ask 50% of the population in America, like talk about the Ukraine, like there's a war. They don't even know where the Ukraine is. So it's all about what can you do for me? Why can't I be rich? Why can't I be a TikTok star? Why can't I be like, let's not work. They're like, who wants to help the fellow man? I'm like, and I think that's what I'm saying. This technology is not centralizing, but desensitizing us to a point where it's like, yeah, okay. It's like kids play shoot 'em up games, right? So then they go to a high school. What do? They shoot 'em up. Okay. And it's sort of like, oh, it's like the game, but it's real life. So it's a very, like,
Yeah.
we don't seem to put stoppers on things to say, oh, do this. And a lot of it, which we spoke about the other day, parenting. The parents don't take the time to teach their children about having a purpose, how to be a young woman or young man, how to be civil, how to do this, how to do that, right? It's like, here's your iPad, now here's your AI, your chat
Go away.
GPT, go learn, right?
Shut
That's
up.
how they learn.
Go ahead.
Yeah. When I was a kid,
it's true.
and
In many
you would
cases.
you learned how to be a gentleman, you learned how to be a lady, blah, blah, blah. And nowadays, no, it's just like they're just little kids. And and I told this to one of my friends, you can't be best friends with your kid. Like you're the adult in the room, so you have to be the adult and you have to be the disciplinarian, and they don't do that. So I
Well,
think when you talk
part
about
of you
purpose and
can
whatever,
be a
that's it.
best friend, or not best, but friend.
Right, you be a
But you
friend,
never
but you
lose
can't.
the role that you have as a parent.
Right,
You have to teach
right.
them.
But
You
today's
have to
parents
put
don't
them
know
in
to
a
do
way
that,
that
though.
they will
Yeah,
survive and be happy,
right,
and they will find the meaning in their
right.
lives. What do you think, David, about the social meaning or absolute
Yeah,
meaning?
yeah. Again, I just wonder what it was like in the cinemas in the early 1940s in the US, where all of a sudden the population was then informed that there was a war somewhere, which could affect them. Like I say, I have this bit of a pebble in my shoe about it being slightly different. Um, yeah, we touched yesterday again on one of the other show that we did about one of the things that is screamingly obvious is this sense of entitlement that young people have today.
Mhm.
They've all had really good educations, which has given them a college diploma, and to the extent that they were told, as soon as you get this piece of paper, the whole world is open for you, and of course it isn't. And
Surprise.
and surprise, surprise. And so you have this sort of they seem to be permanently grumpy about the fact that it's I want because again, what Stephen was talking about sports stars as well. It's we do seem to be more and more focused towards a smaller, more elite group of people. Now, whether that eliteness is the fact that you're a TikTok star or a YouTube star or or a sports star, that menu of eliteness has widened. But there are a lot of people in that. I mean, do I want to be equally as popular and as somebody who sells cream on my YouTube channel? I don't see any value in that. But
Well, the dollars that are coming have value for sure. Well, have and they
Kind,
have
kinda,
and
kinda.
don't have. It depends.
no,
Sometimes they
no,
have, sometimes they lose.
Yep,
they're all paid in crypto, so
that's right.
Well, crypto is doing the same. Oh, crypto is going up. I see.
Uh,
So
Crypto
I'm talking
algorithms.
about crypto because I'll
Yeah,
be talking about the drop, which is connected with what you're saying, both of
right.
you,
yeah,
and about the
yeah,
meaning that we're saying, and also what Stephen was saying about the spirituality and everything, which we tend to forget and we tend to dismiss totally from our lives. We live a life of total materialism.
Right.
Total. I mean,
Right.
what we were saying about the influencer or valued stuff and egoism, it's always material.
Hmm.
And okay,
yeah,
okay, it's sometimes when you're famous, people come to you and they respect you a lot, etc., etc. But you cash out also with this.
Right.
It's what we have in our mind. Also with the sportsmen, they are very, very rich now,
Right.
very rich. That's why they become, you know. egoistic and thinking only about their image and how they are in the team. Or it's not a team anymore in one way.
Yep.
It's
Well,
a team of
to your-
individuals, egoists that play together, and who scores,
Yeah.
who is the lucky one that gets a good, score, and that's it.
Well, when you're paying these guys, like I think the minimum salary, like even if you suck, you're the worst player in the NBA, the National Basketball Association, you make $975,000 as the
How
worst
many?
player,
How much?
almost $1 million a year as the worst player. So
Well,
back in the day, in the 40s, 50s, and
if you're looking at
60s.
if you're looking
Wait,
at the
wait, let me
Premier
look.
League,
Well,
Premier League,
that's
Stephen,
yeah, it's
Premier
crazy.
League in the UK, they're paying them the top star. There's one, there's a 23-year-old top footballer of Manchester
Right.
City. They're paying him. Are you sitting nicely? Because I'm going to tell you, £500,000 a month.
500.
That's no, he's not making any money, and here's why. One of the football players on the U.S. football, they paid him $500 million on a 5-year
But you
deal.
see, we're talking even here now
500
Right.
million.
about
Yeah.
numbers, about
Right.
quantity, not quality.
Correct. But
Yeah.
here's the interesting thing. Back in the day, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, if you played sports in America, you made a few $1,000s, which wasn't a lot, and then most of the athletes on the off season would go and work at the local hardware store or car dealership or a law practice. So sports was like, hey, I get to play sports, but I have to also have a real job. And nowadays,
Oh yeah,
it's much different. And so yes, it's
they're
all about
professionals. So they do only this, and they get paid. Not all of
Yep.
them, of course, because there are many
Right.
sportsmen for women which don't get paid. For example, the people in the soccer, football, because it's very popular sport. NBA, it's very popular sports. The stars there, they get much more money than the
yeah.
other. But in both cases, anyway, because we have to go back to the meaning.
Right.
It's still about money. It's still
Yep.
about fame. It's still about cash, materialistic thing.
Right.
It's not anymore that much. Okay, I'm not totally, eliminating and annihilating everything. There is still companionship. There is still togetherness, but it's not in the degree probably that it used to be. This is
Right.
what you're telling me in general.
Yeah,
This is from
I
your
agree.
experience, isn't it?
Yep,
Well,
I agree
I
with
can
that.
say it from my life. It's
Right.
when I was younger, and I see the nephew of me, and I'm very close to him, and we talk, and he has friends. But you have to see what's going on between them when they're together. Also, what
Right.
they're talking about, what their interests are, etc. And some things have changed a lot.
Right.
And you were right that we are coming more into ourselves. It's like we're despite the technology that we have, despite the fact that it's easy to access somebody and find somebody and meet new people, like David said about the pandemic, that the technology has helped us with this. It's numbers.
Yeah.
It's not that we can meet more people, but we don't get in depth with them. The
Right.
depth is lost in a way.
Yes. But you know why that's, in my opinion, why it's lost is because this is what happens. Oh, really? You're talking to me? That's great. You're talking to me? It's like, that's why. When I go to dinner, my phone is either in my breast pocket or face down on the table, so I don't see it light up, nothing. So if I'm like, even when I walk,
all the time,
right, when I walk my dog, it's in my back pocket. I don't look at it. It's there for an emergency. My phone's always on silent. So people always know that, like, I'll get to you when I get to you, because I'm not curing cancer. Even if we're doing a deal, I'm still not curing cancer. We're just doing a deal. Like, if I don't get to you for 20 minutes, if the deal's going to crumble, then it wasn't meant to be anyway. So my phone is always on the side. It's like, it's there because it's my phone. But other than that, you can leave a voicemail, text me, what's up. So I don't rush to my phone. Like a lot of people are like constantly. I don't. When I smoke my cigar, my phone will be in the other room, and I'll tell it what music to play, and I'll listen to the music while I have my cigar, or I'll read a book. And that's my time. Like, I'm not attached to my phone.
The thing about these phones, then, is it that do we need? Is that some sort of emotional support that we get from the phone? Is it because we want to be we want to be wanted, Yeah, on the one side,
Yes,
or we
it's
also
true.
want to.
Yes,
We
because
want
we
to be. We
wait
want to
for
feel
notification all
important.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wait for an email. We wait for a notification on Insta, on Facebook, on Twitter, on TikTok, on everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know something? I'm almost including everybody who's using them because I'm also this way.
Right.
Not not excessively too much, but I
Right.
am. I am. You know, sometimes. But I'm also like Steven said. I'm not when I'm with friends. I'm not like I'm trying to meet my friends. We don't see each other too much anymore.
Right.
We don't meet
Yeah.
people don't meet each other, and after pandemics things have changed also a little. We don't go out too much.
Right.
And
No.
the other thing is that we have to talk about it, that the phone and in general the internet, later the AI, already in a way,
Mhm.
are very we get addicted to it.
Right.
They create addictions. We are full of addictions now, full of addictions in every, like, you know, with the internet you can access everything. You can access films, entertainment, porn, anything, sport, anything. And we are full. The internet has made us full of addictions,
Yeah.
more addictions than we used to have.
Right. Well, yeah, because when you
Yeah.
used to want to do something, had like when I was a kid growing up, television went off at like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So you were
Yeah,
done. You
yeah,
can be addicted to the
yeah.
phone. There was a study I read a couple of years ago. I think it was in The Economist. They were talking about like people get up in the middle of the night and check their phone. I don't give a rat's ass in the middle of the night what's going on, unless it's like the world's coming to an end, and it's not.
Yeah,
Like if I wake up in the middle of the night and I hear something, the only thing I do is I look at the camera to make sure my dog is okay. I'm like, oh, he's good. My wife's next to me. We're done. I'm going back to bed. I don't look at my mail. I don't look at anything. I could care less. It's like that's like my time. And my phone, once again, at night, it's down. I don't see it. And then I guess Apple now has that setting where you can, it doesn't light up. So between a certain time, my phone doesn't do anything. It's just on sleep. It's like, shh, you go to sleep. I'm sleeping. And I think that's the problem. Everybody's like, they think they're that important. You're not. Like even
Yeah,
like we have to do.
exactly.
Do they
Right.
think they're important, or they have
Yes.
it? Do they desire to be that
Yeah,
important?
both. I think they
Yeah,
think they're
both. I
important, and
believe
there's
so.
just
Both.
yep, it's a
They
both.
believe in they are awaiting the confirmation of what they think about themselves.
Correct.
In general, we have this is interesting topic as well. What we think about ourselves. What is the thing that we have in our mind that we are. So the identity thing. Maybe next episode will be about identity. Of course, we cannot, talk out throughout it, but we have a good conversation.
Right.
Conversation. I think that we're touching things that are really important,
Right.
and more or less people know it. But you know what happens? That we are becoming, old farts, and the youngest say, "What guys are you talking about? This is normal. We have to be like, if they put it in my head, and I had all the time, it'll be perfect. I won't have to. So I can speak to you, and at the same time, I get messages like this, and it might happen.
Well,
And
and
it
I'm
might
okay
Oh,
with that. But
I'm
I'm
sure it
okay with
will.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And David and I laugh because we'll interview people when we do the two old farts part, not like this Adam on the Eve, but we'll interview people about technology or whatever. And we had one guy and he was telling us something. And I was like, dude, we did this back in whatever. And he just looked at me and I go, in fact, my group was the first group to do it. And I go, just because the show's called Two Old Farts, that doesn't mean we use technology. We embrace it.
Of
But
course,
there's
more
also
than youngers that
right,
I
more
know.
than the young people actually know, right? And then, but we
Exactly.
also know when to close the door on it. You know what I mean? It's like the day's over. I'm good. The other part of it is, and which I don't think people think through, is that you control technology. It doesn't control you. And part of like the young kids, as you're talking about, the bigger issue there is the parents use the technology to babysit the kids. So they don't know any better. So of course the phone has to be with them 24/7. And even
Yeah,
like going to your TikTok and your Facebook
but
and all
then
those,
internet becomes a parent, the one who
right? And that's
teaches.
bad.
Of
Correct.
course, because there is no teaching. It's like leaving, the baby inside the sea and say, "Go
Yep.
swim."
Right.
I'll not show you how to swim, but
Right.
here's the medium, the sea, the internet.
Good
Swim.
luck. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't swim, you're gonna die.
Right.
So what? So many people
Right.
die. Well,
Right.
okay, I make it dramatizing, of course, but it's kind of like this.
Yeah. No,
If you
and
don't take care
how
of the
people do.
child,
Yep.
yes, yes, I know. But on the other hand, if you take the parents say, "Well, I have to work. I have to
Right.
work hard because everything is expensive. I'm afraid. I have anxiety because I don't know what happens tomorrow. If I have work next day, because
Right.
now with the AI, we'll have a lot of problems. I was reading a new survey about this, and it was saying that in the next 10 years, 60% will have to change work. 60%, man, it's like two of us. Now we are three. Two of us will have to change
Right.
the work.
Well, here's what's Goldman Sachs put out a report a couple weeks ago that said that by the year 2030, 300 million people will lose their job because of AI. So I thought that
I think
was
it'll
very
be
interesting.
more.
We had this discussion. We had this discussion before, Stephen. You know, I mean, it was the same. People were bitching about the Industrial Revolution. You know, I mean, it will change. There will be, you know, you have to change what you're doing. You can't stand still.
That's true.
You know,
Yes.
if we,
It's a
I mean, I
dynamic
talk to my people say to me, "Oh, well, how do you have this internet thing, this channel that you're doing? How did you learn all of that?" Well, yeah, necessity number one,
Right.
curiosity number two, and then as Stephen said, drive. You think, okay, so they're the three things, and this happens. If none
And
of
I
that,
would
if
add
we,
also the pursuit of the meaning, or it already includes a meaning, because for you, for example, it's very important to meet people. You saw that in
I
the
like meeting
pandemic.
people.
Yes, but in pandemics there was a problem. You found a way, like many people. Technology helps a lot, but now you're expanding it. You're doing it in another form.
Yeah. Well, we just what? How
But it
else would
makes
we
you
have met
happy.
you, Adam? Very
That's right.
much so.
Yeah, it makes you
Very
happy,
much
so it
so.
gives you meaning. But there was a research that you do. You tried. You might fail. You guys probably have failed in your episode. Some problems have
Oh,
occurred, but you didn't stop
look,
it because of that.
if you
Right.
look at the
Continue.
first 40 or 50 shows we
Yeah.
did, they were all failures
Oh my God.
in one way or another.
We were
Not
we
that
were
this is
we were
any, not that this is
we
any
were
better,
learning.
but you know,
We were
Yeah,
learning.
but yes, but it's becoming better anyway.
Yes,
It's
every
becoming
day.
better. You feel it.
Yeah.
You must, because it's
yeah,
experience. You know
Yep.
what you want, what you don't want, what you want to exclude, what you want to include in what you want to experiment. New
Right.
people, new thematology, maybe. I don't know. You find your way there. So
Well, not
you
only
got your
yeah,
that,
meaning into this.
yeah, but the audience tells us too. Like they like there's certain shows like your show, Sermon from the German, and a few other shows that they love. And like so when we put the show up, like numbers are like boom, 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 and there's other
Well,
shows they
if they
like.
don't like my show, they're going to go out
Yeah,
of the
right. But no,
screen.
but I mean, people like the show because what we find is people like things that are interesting. They don't want like the boring whatever. I don't blame 'em. I mean, like I watch stuff. I want something that is going to make me think. Yeah, I always call it mindless entertainment, but as long as it makes me think about something, I'm like, this is awesome.
yeah,
I get to think
Yeah.
about it, and it could be one thing. So if I find the guests intriguing and interesting, I want to be engaged in the show. I can't wait for the next show because I'm like, oh, cool. This is good. What are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do next week, next month, whatever it is. So we
Yeah.
have a couple shows, this being one of them, where people like they can't wait for the next one. Like we'll get to like, when's it coming? So we know how our numbers are, like, because we have to look at numbers, right? We're finance guys anyway. So we look at our numbers on not on YouTube. We look at the numbers on Facebook. We look at our number, and we see that people like it. So we're like, good. We know we're in the right direction. We have other shows that they don't like as much, but we enjoy doing them, so we do them. So it's a combination, and I think that's an important thing. Like goes back to your purpose. So our purpose is to make sure that we do the best we can do, so it really shines for the guest or the host, you, right? So
yeah.
when you talk about what you're
Well,
doing, people watch.
now coming back to, I don't think that the purpose always a meaning. I don't think so,
Right.
because I've seen in lives like of people that they put some goals in their lives, but they are not satisfied with them. That's why
Mhm.
sometimes they change it. Sometimes some people change their life, like they change the job, they change their partners, they change the place where they live, etc. That means they are looking for the meaning. I'm
Right.
talking about the meaning, the deeper thing. That's why I ask also about society. But the next question would be: is if life in general, like from our point of view, the human point of view, has a meaning? Because for my dog, for example, my dog is not thinking, what will I do to fulfill my purpose of life today? It doesn't do this. It's very
Right.
instinctive, It's wake ups. Oh, I'm hungry. Let's do.
Right.
Where is my guy?
Right.
Okay, I'll go. I want to go out. Where's my guy? I
Right.
want to show him. I want to go out. So, but from our point of view, do we think that life in general, like a phenomenon, has got a meaning? And we talked last time about that religion. It was one of the elements that gave, from the spiritual point of view, meaning to life, because it tried to connect the people, the personal, with the universal, with the God, with the one
Right.
thing that created everything, and it's in everything, in everywhere. So it's in other words, it's a medium that we're.
Right.
It's even in the internet. It's everywhere. That's the concept of God. But this is lost somehow, or at least even those who believe, they don't believe in the institutions so much anymore, because the institutions have failed in a way.
Correct.
And not only the religious one, also the politics. We can see that in politics, we can see in many. Yeah, we get
Yes.
disappointed day by day, I think.
Yes.
And this
Well,
brings us down, and we lose the meaning also with that.
yeah, I agree.
But it's not,
And I think that's why
it's
we
not
have the
a bad
problems that
thing.
we have today.
But it's not a bad thing that some of the older institutions of whatever it is no longer work, because
Not
you know
at all, not at
it's
all. Because something that
because
yes, it doesn't belong to the society. It has to go out. It becomes
yeah,
like a parasite.
dead
It has to
wood,
go
cut
out.
it off. Yeah,
And I believe something new will come up. And I already sense
yeah.
that the new. That's why I say that we are living in very, very, very interesting time. Probably the most interesting time that ever humanity. Of course, humanity does not have very long history. It's
Right.
not.
Well,
We don't
that
have.
may not be true though, because Graham Hancock thinks, and I kind of agree with him, that millions and millions or even billions of years ago, there were civilizations that were just as advanced or more advanced than we were, and something happened and we lost it. And we brought this up a couple months ago, but archaeologists found what they call a superhighway from the Aztecs and the Incas down into South America, and they're saying, the archaeologists now are saying, we don't know what we thought we knew about history. We have to rewrite it. So there could have been technology out there far more advanced, and just something happened. So so I don't
Well,
know if
Well,
we don't know it for sure because we don't have evidence from this
they
kind of.
do actually. They
We
have
do.
lots of evidence. Yeah, they've got the computer that they found that's like 4,000 years old. The gears of a computer, if you will. They've
You mean
got
the
the
Greek one?
superhighway, the Greek one. They've
yeah,
got you got the
yeah.
Yeah, it
pyramids.
was.
You've
Yeah,
got
but this is not. This is 2,500 years. It's not. I can tell you that here in Crete, in the Minoans, which were 3,500 years, the
right.
first civilization in Europe, was very much
Very
advanced. Very
advanced,
much
very
advanced.
advanced. Yeah,
Yeah, we lost, but still, I'm not talking. I'm comparing the year that, for example, the planet has,
Right,
or
right.
than we as species. We are very young stuff. I was reading yesterday about dinosaurs. They were ruling for millions and millions of years,
Right.
millions. We are not even, we as humans with conceptual reasoning, with our intelligence, we are 50,000 years. That's it.
Well, we think, but now scientists say we could be. That's what I'm saying. If you
Well,
if
from what
you
I
if
know,
you look at Graham Hancock's research, I don't know about that. I think that we are a generation of something, and this generation could be a few 100,000 years old, but it doesn't mean that we weren't. There was something not before that, and that they weren't more advanced, and
of
whether
course,
they
there
left or got
was.
destroyed.
Well, in fact, we are coming from the Big Bang. Everybody.
But I say I don't believe in the Big Bang. I have a
You don't
problem with
believe.
that. I don't believe in the Big Bang. I don't believe in the string theory. Here's what I have always asked, and nobody, whether
String
they're
theory is something
religious,
totally different. It's
right? But
totally
I'm just saying all
theory.
of it. All of it's just a bunch of BS. Even the Big Bang. And here's what I keep asking, and nobody can answer this. And this is where we were talking about the pathway gateway, and the absolute and one consciousness and whatnot. And the Eastern philosophers kind of, I think, figured this out.
Yeah.
But the thing that gets me is we're here today. I'm good with that. Before us, there has to be a point zero, a start. And no one can tell me what point zero is. It's not the Big Bang, because there had to be something then. If that's true, there had to be something before that. What's the absolute beginning? So nobody can answer what's the absolute beginning, And that's what I want to know. Everything else is just a
Well,
hypothesis
but
or a theory.
maybe you're asking a question which doesn't have an answer, because beginning and ending is actually human concept.
I understand that, but there has to be something then that started this.
It doesn't have, no.
Yeah, why?
This, what we are calling this, is a
Right.
continuation of, it's a flow of a river.
Right.
It's like you're
Right.
saying there must be, yeah, you see, but it's still a human concept. There must
Right.
be the beginning of the river, the, how they're called, the springs, the
Right.
where
Yeah,
the river starts.
The
But
mouth
actually
of it,
the
right.
river is not only the spring, it's also the water that comes from the
Right.
rain, it's a mixture of things. It's
Right.
and at a specific point of the river, you cannot say, oh, this is the river.
Right.
No, it's the flow of the river.
No, I
We're
understand, and
living
that
the
goes,
flow.
and that brings us to the gateway of the gateway, right? That we were talking about earlier before the show about what the CIA and the Army wrote about the gateway and consciousness and the hologram theory and whatnot, and that which I believe it's just all atoms, and I understand that it's all energy, but I understand that beginning and end is more of a human thing, but at some point there had to be something, and to me it's like that something is what I want. I always like when they say to people, if you can go,
why, Stephen? Why does there have to be something?
well, then
Yeah,
we
I
wouldn't be here.
agree.
If there was nothing, we would not be here. So there
No,
has to
no,
be something for us to be
they
here.
exclude
All the faiths are built on the fact that there are things which you have to accept in order to become faithful, and this is just one of those things as well. I mean, does it? If you say tomorrow, if I say to you tomorrow morning, oh, it's all been worked out, read the paper, it's January the 6th, trillion BC. Does that make your existence today any better, any more valuable? Knowing
but that's me being inquisitive. That's how my brain still works, though. It's like these people go, I want to do time travel, and then people go, I want to go into the future, and I'm like, no, I want to go back to day 1 minus 1. That's where I want to go.
Well, if there is -1, then there is no absolute beginning, which I believe that there is no absolute beginning.
Right. So that's why to me, the consciousness thing.
The absolute beginning is a state of mind. Is rather the beginning of a state which pre-existed. For example, we pre-existed before our birth.
Right.
We didn't come from nothing. The scientists, that's what I wanted to say. The science are excluding nothingness. There is no nothingness. Even if you take everything, they've tried it. Even if you take everything, and in a small space, they say that there is the so-called quantum foam. That means the quantum field with the gravity, probably, that is 17 quantum fields. So maybe we go to the drop because we have to see some art also, and we continue. It's the same thing that we're talking about.
But just before we go to the drop, really quick, because it's going to be the gateway process, which talks about everything being energy and consciousness and whatever. So when you leave, so your consciousness, which is who you are, you keep who you are, goes back to the absolute. And then when you come back to wherever you come back, whether it's this dimension, another dimension, you bring you there and you get to learn again. So the absolute, if you will, was the beginning. And Eastern philosophers have talked about it. And that's, if you look at your make-believe book called the Bible, which is a nice fable book, it talks about it, right? If you look at the Jewish mystics, they talk about it. Everybody talks about this in their own terms, but it really is the absolute. And I will send you, it's called the Gateway Papers.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be involved with the religions, which in a way are philosophies, you can go to philosophy, which depends on science.
Yes.
And this is called, take a look at this, idealism. I am idealist. And look at the analytic idealism, which is led by Bernardo Castro. I've talked to you, and I will talk again, because it's really, really serious for me, a theory which I don't believe that materialism is right. I don't think that this is proven. We are not made of stuff. We're made of mind. This what we see here and we call stuff is representation. And Plato was saying about it. That was probably the beginning, or maybe some other guys before there were other.
But we're made of. So when you say we're made of mind, we're made of consciousness, really. And
there is only consciousness. There is
right,
only
and we're really all one. If that's what I'm saying, I like
Yes.
the concept of the absolute, because when you go, you take your conscious to the absolute. When you come back to wherever you come back, whatever plane you come back on,
Dissociate.
you have you, and you bring all that knowledge here, and you can instill it on people, which is, I like the concept of that, which is really what religion talks about to an extent. But in religion, it's all about our religion's better than you, but the consciousness, if we're all one and we all come from the same place, which is this consciousness, if you will, then we're all equal and we're all the same. So this, let's go kill each other for this. So let's go. Why don't we just help each other and make the world a better place? So I think we're all saying the same thing. It's just that it's all a little different.
Exactly.
Just before we get to go to the drop,
yes.
Somebody once said to me, did your parents choose you, or did you choose your parents? There you go. That's something else we can discuss.
Did the egg make the chicken, or chicken the egg?
The chicken make the egg. I like that.
Yeah. Did we choose our own parents?
There you go. All right. So now the important stuff.
It's a very, very big topic. We're gonna be talking about this a lot and extensively.
I think so.
It's really important. And
we hope so.
It's a thing between. It's what Stephen said. Between we are all one, or we are all egos.
Right.
And we see what happens when you go deeper with the ego. We can ask everybody and ask them, do you believe in togetherness or you believe in ego? No one, I think, will say, oh, the ego. But everybody almost works with the ego.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Kind of, we need to get into depth with this, because I think that it's kind of, the ego is a survival tool that was evolved through our evolution. Yeah. But when you cross some lines in general, and one of the works that we're going to show is about this, about balance, when you lose the balance, the problems come. Yeah. The problems appears. So ego, in a way, it is useful. You need it. You need it for your survival. If you don't have an ego, you offer everything, you're going to die.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you're going to die all the money you have to the poor. And next day you say, oh, how am I going to pay the rent? Because I gave all the money to the poor. He didn't have to eat, but you don't have a house anymore.
Right.
Yeah, but I save a life. You see the dilemma. Yeah, but your ego says, okay, I am going to give, but not everything.
Right.
I'm not going to save everybody.
Right.
But it's good to save at least one, at least something.
We are rapidly approaching another dilemma, which means
we're gonna run late. We're fine.
We're gonna run late. We're gonna run out of time unless we start to introduce some of the art, which I was going to say. Stephen, I don't know if you can move us all across so we can have a look at this first piece of art, of this first little clip from Adam.
Put the clip in and see what happens here.
Yeah.
Put us.
Your time's so empty.
No.
Would you go out with friends?
Well, a boy's best friend is his mother. You know what I think? I think that we're all in our private traps.
Okay. So this is.
Wow.
I'll say a few words about the whole thing. So this NFT, this will be an NFT. It's a technology that we use for artworks, collectibles, and many others. That is on the blockchain. We mint it, and we have the artwork and the code that proves that the artwork is mine. It's coming from my address, and it's out on the digital market through platforms that are selling it. So this is a drop. Drop means that it's a series of artworks. It's not just one. In this drop, there are 3 artworks. The drop is called Quantum X Theory. And the inspiration, the X is a variable. It's changing. It's the concept that it's changing. Then what we saw here is called Quantum Acceptance Theory. So this work, what we could see there are 2 figures. In general, I use 2 figures for many reasons that are different. One was like, pearl and more fat, and the other was very thin. And the concept between is that we need to accept each other to go on. It's very simple and common concept that we talk every day, but we still have a lot of problems with that. It's like not everybody has accepted the obvious, that we really need to accept each other, and not only each other, because it's not about only, yeah, here we see also the still of it, because each of the artwork, they are going into auctions in 2 days, the 6th of April, on the platform that's called Maker's Place. We will have the link down. And so there'll be also the print that it's only one edition. There will be no other prints of this work. Yeah, you can see what I was talking about. Our two figures. It's not always about other people. It doesn't have to be other people. It can be you. The two figures, it can be you. Two different forces that are inside you that fight. Which one will win? For example, the egoism or the togetherness, how we call it, the collective unconsciousness that Jung was saying about it. Right. So we need to take things into account. And the quantum thing about it is that each one of the figures that we're going to see is created from really tiny, like balls, like particles, as we say in physics. Right. And the particles, the small little pieces, they create the whole. But you see that there are some parts that are missing. It's not totally whole, and it's all the time is changing. Like a flow, like the thing that we were talking about, the river, in a way. So I'm trying through this series talk about those concepts about how the quantum world, in a symbolic way, is connected with the everyday world that we live. So that's the story about. So this is the quantum acceptance theory.
It's
so
very beautiful.
The middle concept will change in the. Yeah, this is the second artwork from the drop. It's called quantum balance theory. And we talked about balance. We said about it. And balance, again, in the society, in the personal self, the balance between the self and the rest. If you become too selfish, then the tool that you had as survival becomes the tool that is going to probably to destroy you. Definitely it's going to destroy others, because you're a guy who wants one for yourself, and the way we go, we might create a society that there's only one who got everything, who owns everything, and the rest got nothing. We want that kind of society? I don't know. But it's an unbalanced society in a way. That's why balance. I mean, the universe to exist, it needed some kind of balance. We're living in some kind of balance. Right. That the gravity is not too strong. That other forces that are used are not different. If they were different, we might not exist, because the conditions for life would not be suitable. Maybe. I don't know, but there must be some kind of balance. So this is what we have to take account, that balance is really important as well. So this is the still from that's going to be the print.
Very pretty.
Yeah, and this is the third one. It was actually, from the point and history of creating, was the first I created, because as you can see, it has different background a little. It is also a movie. This is called quantum love theory. Love and the passion and the romantic love is something that has very special place in my heart. And I believe that we are created to be with somebody, not to be alone. Too much loneliness can create signs of egoism, selfishness, and get us out of the balance. And this is referring about that that like the entanglement with the particles. Same might happen as a symbol with people, and it's really important to love somebody. I don't know. It's for me. It's a necessity. I need to love, but not in a bad way. Not forced. I want. It gives meaning. So those concepts, I believe, the concept, acceptance, balance, love, and other that we follow in next 3 months in summer, and then there's another one. They all offer meaning in our lives, I believe. The acceptance of others, the love to others, the balance in things that we do and we think, and even the pursuit of the balance, because it's hard to have balance. Always we were talking about addictions before. Well, I am addicted to coffee. I am addicted to smoking. Okay, I'm not smoking anymore, cigarettes. I'm smoking, but I am addicted into this. I am maybe addicted, and now lately I'm a little addicted to food also. So I gained some. I don't know. It tastes better. So the pleasures we are addicted to, but you need to control it. You need to control it, because otherwise it will lose the meaning. The food will lose the meaning. The taste will lose the meaning. If you're addicted to sex, the sex itself loses the meaning. It becoming just an addiction. You have to do it. It becomes like a heroin, which the addictions that we really know, or the television, or the internet, or everything. Those kind of addictions are making us off balance. So we need to find this thing.
It's great. So before we run away and won't see you for another month, tell everybody about your drop and where it's going to be, and then we'll put all the links below and whatnot.
Yes, it's going to be. Yes, it's going to be in a platform called Maker's Place. Okay. It's going to be for 24 hours. So you're going to. There is the starting bid that starts the bid. If the floor, as we call it. It's in Ethereum. It's 1.5 Ethereum, but you can also, I think, in this platform, you can also bid with card and PayPal. So if you want, yes, and with the NFTs is that if you win, it comes to your wallet, your digital wallet, like MetaMask and stuff, and you can hold it on, or later you can resell it. You can put it in the market. That's what people do. Actually, it's a market with artworks, like the normal market, but it's digital. So it's an investment in a way for others are doing because they love the art and they want to have it, like the physical collectors, they want to have it.
So Adam, they get the NFT and they get a print from you as well. Is that right?
Yeah. They get an 80 centimeters, 60 A1. It's the size of the print, the international.
Oh size. Wow!
So it's quite big. It's quite big. And I sold those normally for 12 editions. I have 12 editions, but it's only one. It only comes with the NFT, and only the first that wins the bid here will get it. Because later, if you put the NFT on the market and somebody else buys it, he won't sell the unless they make an arrangement. They make a deal with I want the print as well. It's upon them now. I can't say.
Polydigital. That's the way it goes. We were doing it. That's what we do. NFTs and the actual artwork, because we want to make sure people got. I
don't sell too many NFTs. I haven't been selling like for a year. I haven't minted anything. So now I'm going to have this drop. I'm going to have in 3 months another with the continuation of this series, and I'm going to have like 3 other in other cryptocurrencies. This is in Ethereum in general. I'm going to try others, total different artworks. But maybe we'll talk about it next time, or we'll see.
All right, no worries. Well, the good thing is that
as you have noticed,
that's true. We don't run out of things to talk about, which is always good. The good thing is that
we are not going to run away of talks.
Yeah, we will always have good stuff. But next month, Adam will be back.
Yeah, thank you, Adam, for sending me the art. Well, I've got to keep it back
because nice seeing you again.
It's
I
always
didn't
good.
have we didn't have an opportunity to look at more artwork today because we just.
It doesn't matter.
You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's very true.
We will have the time for it next time, or then after next time.
It's just nice to talk about philosophy and life. So there you go.
Exactly.
And then you get a little thrown in. It's perfect.
It's one thing. It's one thing. Everything is so connected.
That is very true. Adam, thank you so much. We will see you in May. Everybody, we'll have all the information below. If you're on the podcast, you can go to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and we will make sure that we get Adam's stuff out for April 6, 2023 for his NFT drop.